And scene.
Hey, welcome to the podcast for people who mama died by people whose mamas died. It's called No Mama No Manual. I'm Tiana.
I'm Brittany.
And today we talking about our mamas. And the point at which we realized they were human beings.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because, believe it or not,
Yeah.
there is a point in your life where you do not understand that concept.
Yeah.
And I don't think you understand it until you do. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
When did I realize Loretta was a human and not Superwoman? I think it was maybe after I started therapy.
So she had already passed away.
The first time it was right before she died. Oh no, okay, no, that seems too late in the game.
If it's true,
I know, but I'm trying to think if there was any time. That's the like that part sticks out the most to me.
Yeah.
Damn, no, I think that's when it was.
That's when it was. That's cool.
And I feel like I was hard on my mama because I did not grasp the concept. Like, she is a person.
Say more about that.
She has gone through things. She is learning, right? Like, because you assume that your parents have all the answers.
Yeah.
And them niggas don't. They do not have all the answers.
Yeah.
But because they have told you that they've had all the answers, I'm the adult. What I say goes.
In fairness, they really don't be saying they have all the answers. They just be like, I have more answers than you.
Okay. I'm the adult. What I say go. You can't tell me. How you gonna tell me? So it's just like, all right, since you know everything with your college degree,
Correct, for real.
you got all the answers, way, period. And so because you have all the answers, I fully expect for you to handle all of these situations with the utmost care, fluency. Yeah. You should know what the fuck to do. And when you don't know what the fuck to do, why? Why don't you know what to do? Miss, I got all the answers. You can't tell me with your master's degree. Why don't you have the answers? But again, no grace.
Mama, she did her name, I think.
Loretta did not. She was not a neck. She was not a neck popping woman. She wasn't.
It felt inaccurate.
She wasn't that kind of lady. Okay. But she was gonna yell. She was gonna talk loud, and then she was gonna go in her room.
Was she really yelling?
Hell yeah, Loretta ass was yelling. She was yelling, but she could not hear, which is why she talked loud. The yelling still occurred. I don't give a... She was still yelling.
This is so funny.
But I didn't know she couldn't hear until I'm like, why? She was like, because my brothers used to play their music real loud around me when I was little. None of us can hear. And all of them talk loud as shit. My uncles, all of them, ridiculously loud human beings. Why? Y'all can't hear nothing. Uncle, you're yelling. I ain't yelling. I just talk loud. It's giving yelling on this side. It's giving yelling. Stop yelling at me. I hate being yelled at. Yeah. I am a sensitive girl. Yeah. But I will talk my shit. It doesn't make any sense.
Pop your shit, friend.
But anyways. So yeah, I used to I didn't understand why the fuck ups that I witnessed were occurring. Cause like, bro, nah, come on now.
Yeah.
You know things. You're a smart woman.
Yeah.
What is that? And then when I started therapy, maybe a month or two before my mom passed away, my therapist made me ask questions that made me ask my mommy questions. And it was like, oh shit, you have no idea.
Like what?
I'm trying to remember. I tried to block that time out because that was also the time in which I realized my mom was gonna die, and so I don't like going back to that place. But I have journals and stuff, so I can go back and look and let you know later. I'll be going back and reading the journals.
Yeah,
and sometimes it's like, damn, get out of the past, stop reading them. But that's another conversation for another time. But I think about like maybe when she was telling me more about her relationship with my dad, or about when she was telling me about how she felt after she moved back down south.
Yeah.
Her feeling like alone. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh man, you was lonely.
Yeah, you feel things like that. Yeah.
That's sad. You missed me when I was gone. Who was there with you? Like when I realized after our dog died, my dog, her name was Diamond, and I got Diamond when I was in the first grade, and Diamond passed away maybe a couple weeks before I graduated from college. And not a couple weeks, it was a little bit longer than that, maybe a month or two. And it was like, my mom is in the house by herself. But I didn't realize how that affected her until she moved away. And it's like, you was lonely, mama. I'm sorry.
So that's what made you realize she was human. Yeah. She felt like human emotions.
Yeah. She is sad about stuff. I used to think she was so crazy for like crying at movies. Like, why are you crying? It's a movie. And now I be in the movies like
literally at the commercials. Why are you playing?
Oh
I don't even take a whole
random videos on the internet.
Subaru commercials, they're so intentional. Like,
crying.
You knew you was gonna make me cry.
Why are you crying, Mom?
Every time.
Why are you following me around this college campus? Because you're gonna miss me. Because you are a person who feels things.
Because she loves you.
You are not a robot. Oh my gosh, who knew?
Yeah.
I had oblivious. So selfish of me.
Yeah.
So selfish of me. And then of course, like I'm an only child, so that doesn't help the selfish assness of it all. At all. Sitting and talking to my cousins after the funeral and realizing why my cousin always came over and was like mean to me. It was because my mama did not have the capacity to discipline me. She was fucking tired. Or she cared about me too much. She was a softie. She couldn't do it. Hey, can you come over here and tell my kid that what she's doing is actually not the wave? And now I'm a godmom and I have to be the person to like discipline my godson because his parents are soft as fuck. It's like,
yeah, you just get it more now.
I get it.
The older you get, yeah.
Why she would randomly sigh out of nowhere. It's like, girl, are you okay? What was that? And then you just sit down. The random hallelujah, just because God done brought you through something that I had no idea about.
Yep. Yeah.
The things are clicking.
Yeah.
It's clicking.
They make more sense. Yeah.
Wow.
And that desire to be like, pick up the phone and be like, I get it now, lady.
And I can't.
And you can't. Those are hard. Those moments, I think to this day, those moments are still the hardest for me. Those like, damn, I wish I could tell my mama I get it now. You know, those are still the hardest moments. Yeah.
When was it for you?
There was like a moment I realized my mom was human. And then there was like moments where I realized my mom was mortal.
Ooh.
My parents, I think, did a good job of like telling me they weren't perfect. I think they did a good job of that. But it was still very much like, and I don't gotta be because I'm still your mama. And I'm still, you know what I'm saying? And it's still how this house operates, right? But I never thought that they knew it all, that they had all the answers. I just thought they were doing the best they could. And I always kind of had these things to compare it to. Or be like, you know what, they're doing pretty good. They're doing pretty good, right? I think I want to go that way. I think I'm going to follow that example.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of always had it in the back of my head that my mom was, you know, a person. I think I realized she was human. That's a good question. She started to like get really frustrated because she couldn't drive. And I had never really seen my mom flustered by anything. Ever.
Cool as a cucumber.
Or just like my mom just she was like, I don't even know if she was cool as a cucumber. She just either cared or she didn't. You know, it was just like either, okay, I'm invested in this, or I'm absolutely not spending my energy on this, right? But she was very flustered because she couldn't drive, and she was like crying. And I was like, is you crying? You know what I'm saying? Like in front of people? Like, and so I think that was maybe my sophomore year in college. That I was like, okay, first of all, something's changing, but also my mom is crying. She cries
out loud,
and nobody did. Like she cried when her mama died, you know, and sometimes at the Hallmark movies, but otherwise I never saw her like cry from frustration or sadness or, and so I think that might have been it for me. And then when she started to fall and like, not just fall, but like needed somebody else's help to get up. That was maybe like towards the end of my junior year. I was like, okay, things have shifted, and maybe my mama is sick, and maybe this is bad, and maybe one day she's gonna die. It started to like become that type of thing, and so that was when I started to come home on the weekends, acting like I needed to do laundry, like I didn't have a laundry thing on just to be in her business, like I was home on the weekends. But yeah, it was like the things that started to make her flustered because she was losing, I didn't see it at the time, but she was losing her independence.
Yeah.
And that was really affecting her, you know? And that was a child. When she was sick and we were going through it, that was the biggest thing because she would be trying to do shit and it'd be like, girl, I know you see my baby on the floor right here. We cannot have you tumbling around here, okay? There is an infant crawling. She didn't care. She was like, I'm going to do this by myself, right? And so there was a lot of back and forth about that. And so there was a point where I realized she was human and like not this superhero. And then there was a point where I realized like, oh, she gonna die one day.
Yeah.
And those I think were two separate moments for me. And then there was a moment where I was like, oh, she need me to take care of her, but she not gonna listen. And that was a whole nother like, what? That's about a bitch. You know what I'm saying? That sucked too, because it was just like, okay, well, I guess we're still doing this Jackie's way, despite the fact that that's not safe at all. You know? So it was hard. It was hard. All those moments I think were terrible. It just all sucked.
Yeah. I feel like I learned so much more about my mom's mortality after she passed away because there was so much she kept from me. And so like I learned about it through someone else.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she fell and hit her head and was passed out for about 2 days in her house by herself. I learned that from my cousin. Had no idea. Because, again, we lived separate and time would go by where we just didn't talk. But,
yeah.
Like, why the fuck didn't I know that?
Do you ever write these things down and be like, when I get there, I'm going to address these things one by one? Like, ma'am, you have some splaining to do.
Let's start at the top. No, I haven't. But now that you mention it, I'm fully making a question to ask LaGreta when I get to heaven list. Because what was up?
Did your mama tell you that it was illegal to drive with the light on in the car?
She didn't tell me it was illegal, but she said I should not do that.
Why?
Never got an answer.
That's not a real rule.
It's not a real rule. It does draw attention because what are you doing in there? It implies distracted driving. But it is not a rule.
It's at the top of my grievances.
Because why would you lie?
It's just not honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what else I considered? My mom's grief about her mom. So my grandma passed away 10 years before I was born. So I never considered what my mom went through because by the time I had any cognizance about it or could even, I don't know, be encouraged to be curious about it, I was really grown.
Yeah.
And I had other shit to care about by that point, right? Because it's all about me. It's Tiana's world, and all of you are living in it. Yeah. And when I was going through my mom's stuff, maybe after, it was at some point after the funeral, I took a box of, I was cleaning out her storage unit. Yeah. Because this nigga had a storage unit that was stacked to the ceiling with shit that she had not touched in years. She moved away in 2016.
You never know when you're going to need that receipt from JCPenney.
2016 to 2018. The shit just sat. And I don't think I cleaned it out until 2019 because I wasn't ready.
Yeah, you weren't trying to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
But when I did, you know, at the end of the funeral, they give you this white box with the fucking guest book and an obituary, like whatever obituary was left over get shoved in that box. And they gave me the key to the casket. And they wrote her last name on it and gave it to me. Said, Hull, I found a white box with the last name Hull on it in her stuff. And it gave me pause. Because my mama was 23 when her mom passed away. And this is the white box. Like, this white box indicates the end. The shit is done.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine what 23-year-old Loretta experienced when her mom passed away. And it was like, damn, my mama felt like I feel right now. At 23.
Ain't have no manual.
No mama. Just out here.
Yeah.
In Detroit.
Yeah.
Living her life, learning about herself.
Yeah.
In all of the ways. And it's just like, I gave her no grace. And I feel bad about that sometimes. Because it's like, what? I never considered it. How hard it must have been to be a mother without your mother. And I know now that will be my reality. And I'm glad that my mom had mom friends. And like her cousin and, you know, other people to experience motherhood with, like people who became moms before her. Because my mom didn't become a mom until she was 33. And even at that time, it didn't necessarily happen the way she wanted it to. Like, she would have rather been married.
Right.
And wasn't.
Yeah.
And... right? Like, there's just so many things.
Yeah.
Like, I never considered it.
Yeah. You didn't know you should have.
I didn't know that I should have.
Yeah.
Because my mom worked, she bust her ass to make sure I had all of the things that I needed that I never really had to consider it.
Yeah.
There was no need for me. There was no reason for me to consider it because I had all of the things that I needed. But like, my mom was a busybody. I never considered why she was so fucking busy.
Yeah.
What was it? Was it just an innate work ethic, or did she feel like she had the weight of her mom's legacy on her shoulders? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was that? I don't know.
Yeah.
And now I don't get to ask, and that upsets me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's all about me and my stuff. Well, it used to be. It's not anymore because I have a therapist.
Because you have a therapist. As you have a therapist. Yeah.
Did you consider what it was like for your mom to mother you without her mom? You said it was like 10. Probably
maybe not that. We talked about that a lot, though.
Did you?
My mom cried a lot. I mean, even when she was sick, she'd be like, I want my mommy. You know, even at the end. We talked about that a lot. I know that loss deeply affected my mom. We talked about that a lot, though. We did. We talked about that a lot. My mom really... Just that it sucked and that she was sad, right? Like, and it was just terrible. I don't know that I ever specifically asked her how it affected her as a mother. Mm-hmm. I do feel like after my grandma died, I think a couple of things happened around that time. One, I think my mom got to a point in her job where she could be less of a busybody because she had kind of reached like a management role. Mm-hmm. So I think that happened around the same time. And I just remember her being at everything in an annoying way. Like, bitch, go home. It is practice. Why are you here? Why are you sitting in my practice? She was just, both of my parents were just engaged and active in a way that was like, you don't see nobody else's parents in here, you know? But they were just in my business, and not in an invasive way, just in like
around.
And now I actually understand that they really just didn't feel like driving home because once they sat down, they wouldn't get back up. Mm-hmm. Now I understand that. but at the time, what it felt like was that they were just in my face. But I will say that after her mom died, she was at more and like in my business more. But I'm sure it was hard. It sucks. It's a top 2 not to experience.
For sure.
Trying to parent without your mama.
Top 2 negative.
Me and my mom had like some grievances about, I think we would have been very different. I'm very different as a mother than my mother mothered me. Mm-hmm. Maybe because they're boys, but also I think just personality differences. Because like my mama was very like, okay, we need to have a christening party and a baptism party. And ma'am, no,
we don't need to do that.
I don't actually want to be around that many humans, you know? So like the extrovert in her and the introvert in me were kind of at odds. And she like referred to my oldest son as her baby. And they'd be like, if you know you didn't birth this boy, right? So I think there would have been, again, some of that ironing out of like going from mother daughter to friend to friend to mother to mother. And we just didn't get to do it.
Damn. Sucks.
Yeah. But as far as how it affected her, I just know that it did because I know there's no way to lose your mama and it not affect everything.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
My mama used to be at all my shit too. But like very supportive role. Like she was taking people's kids home. Yeah. Well, I used to volunteer her for that. I told so that you could take them home because they needed to stay for practice. And she would just look at me like, how dare you?
She been dealing with other people's kids all day.
What makes now any different? Thanks. See? Horrible. Damn, was I horrible?
No, you were just a kid.
I know I was her pride and joy, but like I was shitty a little bit. I think not shitty. I just did not have any emotional intelligence at all.
As a teenager. Be nice to yourself.
I'm trying.
You were a teenager.
I just be like, damn, I didn't treat Loretta right. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't treat her right all the time. Yeah. And I wish that I did better.
Yeah.
And now I can't like, you know how sometimes people be like, oh, Ma, when I get home, I'll buy you a house.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, I know I put you through it. You know how like all the rappers, like, I put you through hell, Mama, but like, here go a Rolls Royce in a new crib.
Yeah.
Do you know at which point, this is very random, but like, did you ever figure out what your mom's love languages were?
Yes, absolutely.
When was it?
It was the way she loved me. Mm-hmm. So words of affirmation for sure. And I think my mama had a 3-way tie, to be honest.
Damn.
So like words of affirmation, quality time, and gifts, I think were her thing. Mm-hmm. Because she's just really like, I think quality time would have been the first one. Mm-hmm. She just always was around people. She likes sitting in people's face in a way that I still to this day cannot fathom, cannot grasp, what is that interesting about that person that you need to be in their house all day? Send a couple text messages, wrap it up, lady, wrap it up. But she didn't. So quality time. And then she was big on affirmations. She would wake me up in the morning and make me stand in front of the mirror, and I thought she was so weird. But I would have to say nice things about myself. And I still do it to this day. Mm-hmm.
And you make your sons do it.
And I make my children do it. Mm-hmm. And we've added that they have to say nice things about each other.
Ooh, because they have each other.
Yeah. That can be a struggle some morning, but they do have to say nice things about each other. Yeah, so those things you pass on. But yeah, I would say quality time and words of affirmation was her thing.
I don't know when I realized that it was actually a love language, but I know that my mom's were acts of service and gifts. Mm-hmm. But she would buy me the most random, dumbass shit. Like, it was so random. Yeah. And it would just be like, oh, I got you this. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Like, it was a random jewelry set. I remember the only time I went to go visit her. And she was not in the hospital. There was one time in those couple years that I went to Mississippi and my nigga was not in somebody's hospital bed.
Yeah.
And she picked me up from the airport. She was like, I got you this. And it was this pink and silver jewelry set. It was like made out of plastic. And it said like daughter on it.
Yeah.
And it had a nice little card thingy. She was like, I was like, oh, mommy, thank you so much. And then I didn't wear it. It said in the box. I have the bracelet. Yeah. Pieces be getting lost. Me and Jory do not get along well, but I love it so much, but we don't get along good. Yeah. But like I wore it to the funeral.
Oh.
And I was sick that she couldn't see me in it. And now I think about all the times that she bought me random jewelry that I absolutely hated, that I never put on or like took a picture in.
That like regret. That feels heavy for you. Yeah.
Yeah. But I know that she got her from, I had to talk to my therapist about this one. But I know that she got her fulfillment from gifting it to me.
Yeah.
So seeing me in it was like, it was one of those things. But, it would just be random small stuff like, oh, I got you this. I'm like, oh, thanks, my girl. But acts of service was her thing. Yeah. She was always helping somebody to do something. If you said you were having a party, my mom was at your house cleaning up, moving chairs, setting up plates and shit. At her school, it was putting together the after school program or helping put together the boards for the like your hallway. Yeah. My mom, it would be random stuff. Mommy, I left my shoes and we got practice today. Well, she probably didn't want to, but she would go home and get my damn shoes for practice.
Yeah, be cussing the whole way.
Taking other people's kids home. Like, I know she hated that shit, but she also loved that shit because like she was helping. She would come and walk in the parades next to the band with us and was part of the CTMB Parent Association and just was like doing shit.
I think there's a moment where
I had a good ass mama.
Yes, that's it. That's exactly what I was going to. You just realize that like even though she was human, she was dope.
Yeah. Her loud ass.
Like, people be like, why your mama yelling? I'd be like, it's Tuesday. That's how she talk. She's not yelling. She's not mad.
She's not mad. But she is yelling though.
No.
Talking loud. Just
my mama
talking.
was Puerto Rican, so that don't count. That's just how they talk. I don't care. That's how we talk. Like, what are you talking about? She's not yelling. She's not yelling. I think I feel similar to you when it came to like, my mom was a very traditional person. Mm-hmm. Like, I had a baby out of wedlock, right? Mm-hmm. So she like took me to Joel Osteen because she was like, girl, you need
prayer.
You need the saints.
The Lord.
You need the saints. Mm-hmm. And after she died, it became more important for me to do things the right way, right? Things that I had rebelled against. Not rebelled, but just that were like, okay, well, that might have been important. Not even opted to ignore. I think times were just different, right? But they became more important to me after she died. It felt like I needed to honor those things, you know? And so I think in that way I carried some, I wouldn't call it guilt, but it was just like, okay, this is how I honor her. Mm-hmm. It was like a desire to honor her. Some of those things I carry now, and some of those things I'd be like, you know what? I'm glad that was important to you, ma'am. And
that's
we'll
all.
Talk about it when I get there because so it's been an interesting journey. Mm-hmm. It is. It's been an interesting journey.
Wow. We had mamas.
We had them.
Oh, that's the thing. You do not possess people.
They're not yours to keep.
Not yours to keep. God is gonna ask for niggas back, whether they still be on the earth or not. Ha! The tears.
I thought it was in a competition,
and they ain't mine. Don't give me this. I don't need it. I don't need
just go with it. So people are like,
I don't need any tissue.
Damn, just take the tissue.
I will hold on to it.
Throw me under the bus.
You're welcome. Love you.
They didn't fall. I didn't use it. Check the tape.
Man, anyways, we can go ahead and wrap this one up. We wrap this up.
We had mamas. They was human.
We had mamas. They were human.
They was dope.
They were dope. And I'm grateful that God let me borrow her for a little while.
Yeah, man.
Like, that was very nice of you, Lord. I appreciate it.
The loan could have been a little longer, but
you know what I'm saying? Like,
we'll discuss that.
I'm not saying that other people got to have their mamas longer than I did.
But it's kind of true.
But I just so happen to notice. Period.
It's hard, man.
I just so happen to notice that other people, mamas is still here or whatever. But you know, whatever. That's another conversation for another day. We can talk about that later. Please share with us if you're watching, if you're listening. Yeah. What point did you realize your mom was human? Was it something that she did? Was it something that she said? Was it something that you saw or heard? Was it someone else who made you realize? Damn, I had another thought, but I do not want to drag out the conversation, so I will not add it right now. But yeah, I think I probably, okay, I'm going to just say this and then I'm like,
fuck it, we will.
Fuck it, we will. It's our podcast, we can do whatever we want. I think that I took into account that my father was human before I took into account that my mom was human. And there's a conversation I had with Ryan Davis. He's a comedian. He came to Detroit and they was talking about, like, I don't even know how the conversation came up. But like, he was like, you gotta realize people doing the best they can. Like, niggas are human. And I was just like, no, my daddy just trash. He like, no, he is a human being and he had experiences before you got here that led to him being the way he is. And it's like, all right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. In my head, I don't know if my daddy, like, if my mama fucked up less. So it was like, in my eyes, right? Because I don't really know.
Yeah, that's wild to consider, right? That your mama has some pages in her book. My mama has some pages in her book that, like, maybe she wouldn't want me to read out loud.
Maybe she wouldn't want me to read them pages at all.
She never told me, so I wouldn't know. I did find out. I'm not gonna lie, caretaking, like when you caretake for somebody, you find out a little bit more than you want to. So there were some things that I was like, I felt like I grew up 10 years. Like, wow, I don't know that I was ever supposed to hear this, you know?
Maybe not.
Caretaking it's a wild one.
No, that's
with that consideration, right? And I think you're right that I just think that's whatever. We could talk about society and how you're just conditioned to
believe,
to set the bar in hell for men sometimes.
In hell. Like on the floor of hell.
So low. And I love men. I think I try to be very positive about men, but the bar is in hell. The bar is in hell.
It is in hell.
I know my kids can't stand me because the bar is not in hell. For them. No.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You will rise to the level of expectation up in here.
Yes.
That's how I treat my godson too. But he 3, so he don't really know nothing right now.
That's okay. Stay on him.
Yep. All right.
We're saving society.
One small male child.
Hey, yo. We are out. Tell us when you realized your mother was human. And if and when you realized she was dope. How that made you feel?
How did it make you feel?
Yeah.
Ooh, feelings. Okay, yeah. engage with us.
Yeah.
We would love to see it. We would love to share and chat with you.
Yeah.
I'm holding this cup down here like y'all can't see it. I've been sipping on this cup the whole time. I've been
drinking. I have been consuming responsibly.
Responsibly. We at home. But yeah, all that what she said, all that what I said. If you know where the communities are, join us there. If you don't know, we'll post them for you, and we will see you in the next one. Okay? Bye. Love you.